especially 7, well, I keep repeating it, but 7 games unbeaten on this map. You've got to expect that they are going to have big moments here and a lot of understanding about the defence. Bans come in, Thatcher, and just going to merge them together and save myself some time. Thatcher and Flores are going to be the first 2. Pretty standard for what we've seen so far, banned on Kafe.
I did get a check with the admin because I was just like, well, observer in this case, but bless him, Sino being the go-between between me and the admin, just asking, you know, did they genuinely pick to start an attack? And yeah, the answer was that they did. I'm nervous about it because TSM, was it 5-1 earlier on against NIP? They really did dominate them out. Now, FURIA don't have as many time problems as NIP do, admittedly. They are a little bit quicker, a little bit pacier. I don't think TSM will be able to sit as static and just wait for FURIA to come to them. They'll have to get busy. Does that mean FURIA will start employing things like the line and the DKB again? It could be that based on the last map, they saw that role of attacking round wins and thought, you know what, we're really in the zone right now with our attacks. Let's keep on running with it and we can start out strong. Even if we get 2 rounds, that's still not a bad thing to go into our defensive side on. So maybe that's part of the thinking. But for me, again, I still ask questions is what I'm saying here, Tim.
Careful, Des, you'll sound like me soon.
What?
Really trying to dig to find that positive for FURIA there. Just sound like me before long. There's nothing wrong with it. You carry on.
Sounding like you? Laser gates!
I didn't mean like that, because that's...
Cool down.
We all know that sounds nothing like me, Dan.
What else do you say?
As we discuss continuously.
What else do you say?
And you do this just to bait me into a response.
Absolutely massive, Des!
Nothing like it.
Exactly like it. I thought that was pretty good.
Absolutely nothing.
I reckon it's at least a 7 out of 10. At least.
6.
I love it earlier on when, it was actually yesterday, Demo imitated you. And I think it was Parker was like, I actually thought that was A speaking for a second.
And everybody is just doing it because they know they get a response out of me. That's what it is.
Mate,
everybody
look,
knows that I bite.
Call me the fisherman because I got this fishing line and it's reeling you back.
Everybody just
reeling you back
that I bite to it because nobody does anywhere near a decent impression of my act.
You do a fish impression for me?
No.
I'll do this whole like reeling the line and thing.
No, I won't.
Oh, okay.
Round number 1, Kafe, TSM, unbeaten, 7 maps, FURIA, massive challenge ahead of them. This is...
I might say an absolutely massive challenge, Tim.
Well, you could look at it and say that it's the Beat TSM at SI 2022 Knockout Games challenge. Impossible. But FURIA making it look a little bit more possible as Gio is taken out to kick things off. It's going to be Highs who manages to find that. A little bit quiet last time around, If they can get more out of him, that would be fantastic. Sheesh. And they're going to get more as he finds a kill onto Charlotte. 4 versus 2 now, 4 versus 1. This is inside the first minute, TSM are being absolutely destroyed in the kitchen site. Full white flash, pressure mounts, round done inside 60 seconds.
Look at them, it's like they've just won the whole 6 Invitational with those celebrations, Tim. They're all over it. I mean, admittedly, 60 seconds all year are pushing in from like Bakery side. That's going to catch anyone off guard. Like, imagine when it's your sledge player in Bakery killing everyone, the guy that you expect to start on the 3rd floor, open the hatches, work your way down to the 2nd, start smashing the floor inside 90 seconds. No one expected Highs to be there then, killing 2 or 3 members of TSM and giving FURIA a brilliant first round. 4 men still left standing at the end. It was that dominant. Like I said, if you just come off playing attack really well, you have a short 5-minute break and you're attacking again, chances are your communication is on point. You're absolutely buzzed that you've won 3 rounds back-to-back in the middle of all of it. Why not try and stick it and make it work here on Kafe?
Well, I'll tell you what, there was something on point there. That much is for sure. Whether that is the last map, whether it's this one, it doesn't really matter to FURIA. They got the round on the board and they're going to try to continue that pressure and ferocity against TSM, I would imagine. This time TSM moving to reading room, likely to try and hold on to the top floor. This one's going to be more about burning time, so I think if FURIA are going to try and bring that sort of aggression and just get in and look for kills, they're not going to get away with it the same here. Last time they were able to pretty much just go to site and just really get right up in TSM's faces to begin with, whereas here TSM should be able to manage that a little bit further. They should be able to keep them at arm's length up on that top floor.
Hopefully so, but I know your thoughts on this top floor in general, Tim, and they aren't very popular.
Well, they're not holding the top floor.
On the site, but it's a very similar defence to what you'd see.
It's similar, but reading room has a better win percentage more often than not for defenders.
I use this site to reference so many things across the game, like whenever I'm talking about, okay, well, you've got to go and take this kind of other site first and then attack into a second site. I always love referencing this one because, yep, it's exactly like attacking into bar and cocktail to start things off, and then you start thinking about reading on the downstairs. So it's even more steps for the attackers and gives them something to think about. I didn't quite remember seeing the stats for this map earlier on, but I'm pretty sure this, in fact, this Mining and Fireplace has got the highest defender win rate so far on this map. This site is joined, interestingly, with Bar and Cocktail, and then Kitchen has the lowest. But it's not massive margins we're talking here. We're talking a 10 to 15% swing in total.
Geo gets forced away. He's a little bit unlucky there. He took a spray out through the barricade and nearly caught the man playing on top of the air conditioning unit. Merc manages to get Fantasy, so this time TSM are able to get themselves an advantage. And as expected, Des, they've just been able to slow things down a little bit here. They're not allowing FURIA to run all over them like they did last time. Fantasy just recognising the ability coming out of Merc there and giving him the nice shot as well.
Here we go, window, oh, sees the head. Surely Bolo clocked that. I know that he's not that blind. Must have known he just ran past someone there and got himself into a reset position. Needs to be careful of the hatch, mind you. Someone can pop up there at a moment's notice and see his feet before he ever sees them. Dips back away, sat behind the shield, and is worried here about what's going on inside of Piano. Can't quite connect a shot onto Lender, who keeps himself going and is now looking to challenge down White.
Bolo just repositioning inside a site. He's going to move himself through to the fireplace, trying to hold the angle onto White Stairs, just get as much of a pixel peek as he can. Lender moving down might just struggle to challenge him here. It's not going to be easy to pick him up if Bolo's still in that position, which he is. He's just waiting, but will his patience hold out? Charla's there on the cross as well. Geo's underneath. There's no way that TSM should be coming away without this kill.
They've got a three-way cross onto White Stairs. It's like they know the drop's got to happen here and the stairs are going to be a main point of ingress. They're going to have to start backing away once this floor opens up. High's starting to get to work, swinging that hammer away and ripping up a few floorboards. Bolo put down towards the ground, but not taking out the round just yet. Lender coming back in for seconds, coming in for afters, you might say, Tim. But Geo's there for the support, brings him down and keeps Bolo alive.
Could potentially be picked up, but unlikely with 25 seconds left to go and being inside a site. Achieved just holding a nice position there inside of mining. Highs finds Charla. Achieve's going to have to move here to try and do something on the flank. Geo coming up the White Stairs and effectively 3 versus 2 for FURIA now. Diffuser going down. This is their opportunity to win this one out. Geo looking to rotate. Can't stop the man. The cover's there from Miracle. He gets Achieved. He gets the round. It's a big one for Miracle. A big one for FURIA. And look at the team. They are really on it now, Des.
Just like I said, if you've had a great attack in half just a few moments ago, keep up with the attacks. TSM muted. And FURIA doing enough shouting for 2 teams here as well. We can hear them all the way across the arena behind several curtains at this point. They are loving their siege right now, Tim, and it's a delight to watch.
It really is. They're exciting inside of these first 2 rounds, just finding a way there in the second. After Merc got that opener, I thought this is going to be a tough one for FURIA here. They've had the sort of pace knocked out of them. They're a man down. They've got Bolo just head glitching behind the bomb there, just like, you know, a real tiny little pixel peak to make it difficult to see him. It was always going to be a tough one, but boy oh boy, did they find a way.
You know what I loved him as well? It's not the usual suspects that we're talking about, right? I know Miracle's had a big 3K there and really got himself on board. Round 1, largely coming off the back of Highs with a brilliant entry play to get things underway. You've got Lender also weighing in. I know Rare hasn't been involved, but he also hasn't died yet. He's doing his job as a support. This is feeling more like a team effort than what we saw out of the attacks on the prior map, and that is worth celebrating.
Top floor it's going to be this time around, and TSM, having failed to hold down 2 of the other sites on the map, might just find that they have a tough time here as well. Going to have Charla more than likely, I think it will be, holding down. Yep, he's on the smoke. He's going to try to hold down Cigar. He's got his castle barricades. He's got his Aruni laser gates. There's plenty going on there to try and keep him in. We've seen them hold this area down for upwards of 2 minutes previously, so big question here as to whether FURIA are able to break that down quicker.
Well, this time it's a bit of an east start. Yep, wanting to try and force those out of Cocktail out of the way. Oh, Merc finding Fantasy already.
And second round consecutively.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about being Merc's now, what, 2-0 on the entry on this map?
Yeah, and both of them have been on.
He's heard Nask is playing well, and he's like, right, get him out of the game.
Come on, we need to both get going. And FURIA, they're thinking the same. They need to get themselves inside of the map. Almost a minute gone here, and they need to be pressuring Charla's position. As I said, he's done very well at wasting 2 minutes plus previously inside of Cigar, and FURIA really can't afford to waste that sort of time, especially not with a man disadvantage now. Still looking to clear things out, utility being burnt, Bolo playing on the pixel angle but taken down. Beautiful shot from there. Nice reaction onto that corner peak coming in. Lender gets Charla. This could be falling apart for TSM again. Achieved. He manages to put the stoppers on with a kill onto Miracle. Halfway through the round, it's 3 versus 3, and Kafe is turning into a bloodbath.
It's such a delight to watch a team move with pace and purpose as well, because FURIA started on the East Rappel. They were trying to clear things out. They lost one on the white window. They can either hang around there and keep on trying to make it work, or they can completely move over to a more standard take, getting the hatches, getting the drop inside of red, and that is what they've gone for. And so far, it has netted things back up equal to a 3 versus 3. And because they were very decisive about it, Tim, they've got so much time to play with still. There's 70 seconds on the clock here. They can take all the time in the world to get this one string together. And they even sit here, use the Gemini, get some drones through, for example. They've got 4 out in the field from Rare and Lender. Still, tons to play with, tons of time, lots of resources if they want to be using them, including the frag grenades. I'd be sweating if I were TSM.
I'd agree. Merc could come up spoiler here though as he starts to aggress through bar back storage. Needs to hope that FURIA don't push into Piano here because he could find himself flanked. They know he's there now, and that's the kill from Lender on the exact angle that I was talking about. I'm not sure if Lender's aware that there's somebody on white stairs. Rare manages to find Geo. It's all up to Achieved from that white stairs position. In at Lumber, shut down by Lender. FURIA does a 3-0 up. See, from hearing it to realising what's happening, to reacting to it and carrying out the action. It's just so impressive from Lender. Really well played, FURIA. And they've got TSM on the run right now. There's no other way to put it. And Fantasy's bringing Knock along. They're even trying to up the difficulty level here.
I don't think I've ever seen a world where Fantasy has the lowest kills on the team.
So far.
I mean, last map didn't start particularly high for him, don't forget. It was the ace that really got his game underway. The Lion being brought along, working absolute wonders for him. Shock horror, and LMG turns out to be pretty strong. Who'd have knew? We're attacking into that downstairs once again. Charles bringing along the Echo. My only concern here being, are you going to have time to even make use of those yokais? Because the pace at which FURIA are playing right now is breakneck. We've seen teams make good use of the yokais when people have been trying to plant with 15 seconds left. We saw it earlier on today as a good example when NIP were trying to attack. I'm just not sure TSM are going to find that opportunity, to be honest. I think FURIA will be in far too quick.
Sayona, could we just have a quick look at the rotation, please, from bakery into small bakery, just next to the castled door? Thank you very much. That is a very skinny rotate, is all I'm going to say. I don't know if that's even intended as a rotate or more.
I don't think it is, no, because of the side bits.
It cannot surely be intended as. But I think normally you'd see a rotate in there. But
yeah. So the whole idea behind this, for those who don't know, the whole idea behind the reinforcement and the armor panel is that you're really hard to press from someone inside of North Bakery. If they want to come and push you, they've either got to break off the castle barricade, not as hard a task these days, given it now takes fewer hits, or you've got to go and rotate straight through and chuck a nade over the top. But chances are they're going to see you coming in first. It makes it really hard to push through. So yes, I think it was intended to be a rotate, but it's not. Someone could get stung by that.
Exactly, it's certainly an area to keep an eye on. It could be interesting little bit of play, but the first interesting bit is going to be the Knock creeping down the stairs here. Not sure that they're aware of his presence. Bolo's watching the bar in general. No, he's on the brown stairs. He knows that he's potentially creeping down. Fantasy's actually going to play his life and dip away from the time being. And he was just, I think, hoping to catch somebody out in the white corridor around the back of Freezer there, but he's not going to have any joy. He's just waiting for more information to come into him before he tries to push anywhere, and that's FURIA showing good patience. And look at this speed, Des. 1 minute 45 when that first hammer blow went down.
Oh, that sits pretty high in my ranking, Tim. That's definitely a top 5 team there for me, and it's probably a good sign for their attack overall. Lots of stuff being opened up here, just trying to restrict the defenders, force them to move away. You can see no one is playing around down here. No one around Prep, for example. They're all tucked in towards Co, in towards Bakery. There's one behind Bar, there's one in Coffee. They're all just generally quite split up, and that single rotate worth mentioning is so they can't get a clean angle through those sledge holes they're opening up on the below. Look at this on the below, there's no Mercs inside of here. He's getting nades chucked at him. Fantasy going to strike first and find one, instantly traded out, but a nade comes through, a Merc blown sky high.
A good start once again, and no answers really coming in from TSM. 4 versus 3. They do manage to find the Knock of Fantasy, but the damage is largely done. I think we're going to get a... Oh, Charlie, why you're teasing me. I want to see if you can get through
He can't do it. It's stuck. He's just realised.
A little look
he could impact it and get it open fully, but then they'd know he's there, so he's kind of stuck.
It could be a problem. He certainly looked like he wanted to have a look down the red corridor there, but will not be able to. And the vertical pressure is really mounting here. Lender takes a ton of damage though, and Achieve could play spoiler if the drop comes in from the hatch. Gio's watching it as well, so they are dropping into a potential bloodbath here. Down goes the first, trying to get into sight. Charla has that locked down. TSM, they're looking pretty solid here, Des. 3 versus 2 now as they find 2 kills. Diffuser down, Cold, Lender low health. Can he? No, they're not going to be able to do this. Looks to try and get in from the door, traded by Charla, and TSM, after that tactical timeout, managed to lock down their first defensive round.
All that really came down to, I think it was Achieve playing on the wall into freezer, right?
Yes.
With the shotgun. Yeah, in most cases, you can't do that. The most you can rely on is chucking smoke canisters inside. Maybe you catch someone on their initial drop through the hatch, which is why people will drop on the north side of the hatch. But because he took a risk and said, look, they aren't going to push down white stairs, I'm going to play right up against this wall with a shotgun in hand and kill you as you come for the drop. It was very aggressive from him, and you know, I will speak about teams wanting to take more risk kind of in general. The risk versus reward payoff is absolutely huge for him. Finding 2 kills on the initial drop, a third with the SMG not too long after, gets the shutdown, and Furia, with a momentary lapse of attention, do pay the price.
Righty, so we go into round number 5. TSM, they're on the comeback trail, Des. They've managed to get one. Can they get more? They had a complete failure of their defensive rotation. Kitchen, Reed, and Bar were all shut down by Furia. They've managed to go back and right at least one of those wrongs. Locking down Kitchen and moving now back up to Reading. Can they do the same again here? That is the question. Furia last time able to win this on gunfights. They're going to be looking for the same again, I'm sure. TSM, they've got to do better. They had that 3-way cross on white stairs last time that Furia managed to unpick.
That's it. Oh, full lock in here as well. Now, if this happened in ranked, you'd probably be screaming at your teammates, why no rotate? But the reason why it's going on here is because all they really care about is this bastion they've set up inside of storage. I want to say we saw them do this the other day against NIP. I think at the time we clocked it and said, look, it's really hard to break into here. It's electrified. There's an armor panel that's reinforced off bathroom. It does mean you can't have that support on the south side and you can't challenge into Piano itself. But the general idea is that you're just not going to give them any control of that top floor. If they want to get control of storage, they're really going to have to fight tooth and nail for it.
Certainly are. Fantasy, once again, moving himself up the brown stairs. As I'm not sure, again, how aware TSM are of his presence. Fantasy has been playing a very sneaky little game so far, and given an opportunity, we know the damage that he can do. He's on the Finker this time, so has nades as well. Bolo's just going to be holding the angle on that corridor, but not really in a position to challenge where Fantasy is likely to head, because I think he's keen to get himself into trains here and maybe pressure into dining as well. But he's showing a lot of restraint, as he has done previously, and he's just waiting for his team to get established, and he's waiting for his moment to attack.
That's it. I mean, no rush, right? It's only 60 seconds in the round, Tim. Imagine if it was the final 30 and we were at that point. It's probably how you'd feel casting a couple of other teams in this competition. But for Furia, this is still fantastic pace, and they should have no concerns at all. Their early drone work really enables this kind of thing, and there it is. Fantasy striking up big, just playing the patient game and getting one for himself. Merc strikes back onto Miracle elsewhere, so it does come down to that 4v4 once again. It's okay, I'd say. No C4 being expended as well by Achieve means that is lost to the void.
TSM have done a really good job of trading kills out, and Bolo actually manages to find Fantasy as well and give them the advantage back. 4 versus 3 now, and Furia just struggling a little bit to find TSM. They've certainly kept themselves under wraps a bit better. I think we saw Merc actually air jabbed into the freezer. He came out and cleared it off, and he's going to be able to have some free movement there. Highs is trying to challenge white stairs in a bid to get anything going for Furia here, but as you can see, Lender ahead of him, not really able to push forward too aggressively. Moves round, he's going to be separated by from Gio by a wall rather. And
oh, that's not easy.
Easy as that. Merc manages to find the kill, and that is now going to be 4 versus 1 as he gets himself another 3 on the round, 4 on the round. Merc unstoppable, and the TSM revolution continues here on Kafe as they manage to find 2 after that initial Furia onslaught. TSM right back in it.
That hold is one that FURIA essentially completely ignored inside of storage. He had the one rotate coming out, and the right bar door was also left open, but the chance of anyone charging through that was basically nil. They had the bulletproof camera set up inside a cocktail looking across bar to give him an early warning system if that were to be the case. So the only real angle you've got is to play from below. Below is the site. That's simply not going to happen. You could get control of white and look to open it up from inside a bathroom, but then you're attacking through a very narrow funnel. It's just super hard to attack into, and I understand why FURIA really struggled there, to be fair, but Lender stepping in and looking towards cocktail, they should have known Merc was still sat inside of that room. He hadn't moved for the longest time. They knew that he ran into the air jab, for example, and he makes them pay the price. Just, again, a small oversight coming out from FURIA, the same in the last round with white stairs when attacking downstairs. This round it was forgetting that Merc was still sat inside of storage.
Bar and cocktail it will be. We saw it in round 3. FURIA were able to get the win, but it was the last of their win streak. We saw the tactical timeout come afterwards. TSM have repeated and are looking to completely absolve themselves of them early mistakes. They are now facing a 3-3 half, which didn't look very likely after the first few rounds, but they do need to hold on to what I will still say can be a difficult top floor. Now, interestingly, look at all those holes that we've got opened up by Rooney there, just looking down to the lower level. So I would expect to see somebody from TSM playing underneath, looking to use them.
This one is the golden C4 on that far left side.
Straight into Cigar.
You know it. We've seen it a good couple of times where someone will just play with that C4 sat below. They hear of someone inside a cocktail. They see it on a bulletproof, whatever it might be, of which they do, of course, have one on side. That was in the back pocket of Gio. I'm not quite sure exactly where they've placed it, but if it's sat in the right spot, it could be a freebie if they get in the right position. Right now, no one is looking to do that. Maybe it's more the fear factor of what if there is someone there? Because Bolo is sat on Pixel, does have the C4 in back pocket, and that is only one of 2 that the team have achieved, pocketing the other one.
Merc likely to be able to find an angle, to be fair. He's down there with the Jaeger. I'm not sure if the train in the middle of the room might just get in the way of him being able to get far enough back to actually reach the angle through the floor. But for now, it's not going to matter because he's going to head himself back upstairs. But there could be a little crossover. No, Bolo's back into bathroom. This is the position that we've seen him holding down a number of times. He's going to continue to try and do the same here. We saw NIP struggle to move him from this location. Didn't have the nades on hand to be able to scare him away, and if you give him the opportunity, he's going to stay here and he's going to make a nuisance of himself and make it very difficult for you to get inside a piano. But
the
miracle. He's creeping into side, Des. He's going to air jab it off. He's looking to get aggressive. He's going in right now and getting the plant down. Is the cover in place? I'm not convinced that it is, but I'm not sure that TSM know what's going on. FURIA! No, it's been stopped! Charla, in the absolute nick of time, Des, manages to prevent that diffuser going down, and that is huge from TSM.
There's still more time to play with, mind you, but now TSM know where the diffuser is. They can just play around it. You got Lender, who was looking to try and play on the below. Grenades in hand. If you can finish off Gio, that'll be a great start. There it is. The nade from below. There's still one more inside a cocktail, mind you, achieved. Down to about half HP. Another nade from below. 2 coming in 1 round for FURIA. A great start with Fancy hitting the deck. Lender going absolutely nuclear this round. 3 to his name and gets the 4th as well. A big shutout in that round to end the half. 4-2.
What a round. My nerves are in tatters, Des. There were so many twists in that tail. You just couldn't see where it was going to end. Diffusers down. No, it's not. Grenades are in. Kills are coming. It was absolutely unbelievable siege entertainment there in round 6. The half is closed out with FURIA in the lead, and if they can lock this down on defense, Des, we're going to go into a 3rd map, and I'd love to see it between these 2 teams with the way they're playing at the minute.
In Oregon, I kind of said, you know, a little bit nervous about that for TSM, not one of their more popular maps, so FURIA might just find a way to unsettle one of the American teams. We'll find out, no doubt, if we get to that stage. TSM going on to the attacking side here. I always say again, give it to the half and see what happens in the first couple of rounds, because as we saw on the last map, you can't count a team out even when they're down 5-1. They can still battle their way back in. We saw it earlier on, out of NIP. There's every possibility that TSM can fight their way back into this. But right now, FURIA just full of beats.
Little spoiler coming up for you. If you don't want to hear the result of the other game, I will give you a couple of seconds whilst I'm sort of talking through this. You know it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. We believe Team Liquid have beaten FaZe 2-0 in map. Strong performance coming out of Liquid, and just adding more and more weight to the claims that they could be on for their first ever Invitational title.
What a journey that would be as well. I know lots of people like personally are back in like Paolo, especially to get a win. Rated #1 player coming into SI.
Imagine Nesk never winning the Invitational.
It's just, you can't imagine it, can you?
It's just, no, wrong. It's not right.
It's wrong. Although the nervousness around that team is, you know, Ask and Resets, the two newer players who plays Moringa and Sexy Cake, are a little less experienced, 18 and 19 years old, I believe.
Going pretty well, though.
I mean, to be fair, imagine being 18, 19 years old, joining Team Liquid after, I think it was Resets, came from like an academy team somewhere as well. Yep. Stepping up and winning SI at your first swing of the bat. Imagine.
There's a lot of work.
Real.
There's a lot of work for them to do yet.
There are two generations of Siege players there, basically. Yes. Could win SI. It'd be insane.
Fantasy gets murked, Des.
Yeah, I mean, look,
gets murked. It's happening.
He started slow in this game, but now he's already starting to wake up. And Merc, who's been prolific on the entry, shut down very early on. That'll take a lot of the sting out of the tail from TSM. FURIA should sleep a little bit more comfortably at night.
Well, the problem is as well, it really hurts that top floor push. So now FURIA start getting a little bit more comfortable about staying up here. If Fantasy gets another, then there's not much of an option but for TSM to start thinking about pushing towards site. Fantasy is going to dip away for the time being, so this is good for TSM. They've got Bolo and Achieved up there, and they are starting to move players around. Fantasy and Lender both on the underneath now. There's just one player left over in Cocktail to be cleared out. It's Highs, and he needs to hold on for as long as possible. It sounds like we're just going to have him, I was going to say the Hibana pellets were going to start raining in to try and open things up, but he's going to drop before he gets to that point. Now then, FURIA, they've got quite a while to hold on here. They've got a minute left, man advantage, but TSM can start working from above, and Achieved is still alive on that sledge.
He is, but how much damage can he really do against a team that seems a little more proactive in dealing with these threats? I mentioned earlier on that his favourite game was Minesweeper, very rarely being caught out by a C4, but don't count out what can happen here. I mean, admittedly in this round nothing will happen because the C4s are already gone. The only one was in the back pocket of Rare. So the main threat now exists in Lender with the smoke or in towards those Yokais from Miracle that are both out scattered in the map.
One has dropped for TSM. It's going to be Bolo on the underneath, just following those yellow pings. Looks to make a challenge into Trains. Does a ton of damage but won't find the kill. Instead manages to find Fantasy. And that is Geo in and planting. They've got the vertical control. There's very little FURIA can do about this. Charla's on the cover, and as he tries to push in, it's all turning around, Des. I did not expect that. 2 kills from FURIA now. 2v4 successful plant, but it's up to Bolo on a fraction of health. Rare's already disabling. This is done, Des. FURIA have managed to get round 7. It's 5-2.
Unbelievable how they managed to pull it off as well. We saw the diffuser going down and thought, 4 versus 4. There's just no way they can swing this one back, and they find 2 kills out of nowhere, even with the reverse angles working against them. Beautiful stuff. Really,
honestly, I
really
still don't know. I'm going to have to watch it back. I still don't know how they got them 2 kills.
Lender got the flank because whoever it was then sat above the hatch inside a Cocktail was so like focused on the door. Lender got above. Right. I think he came up through bar and that was it.
I missed it. I was just so focused on, like you say, 4v4 plants going down. Yep. Like, let's try and catch where everybody is. That Lender just slipped through the net. Absolutely unreal from FURIA. They are coming out with a masterclass on Kafe at the minute, and TSM are reeling. They don't know how to respond to this, Des. We are seeing them put under some serious pressure.
That's what I think it is, right? The pressure's just building up so strong at this point that momentum is really, really against them. They can't call that timeout. They took it at 3-0. They're just going along on FURIA's wild ride right now and cannot find anything. Not a single player. Well, I guess you could argue Merc, but no one on the team is really positive when it comes to KD. That's just how little they're being able to achieve in this game with the rampage that FURIA are on. almost all of them outside of Rare and Fantasy, both being positive so far in the game. But it's Lender, again, that I do really want to appreciate. I once termed him Lender the Human Blender, and he is stepping up today and mincing TSM.
Thing is, in BR6, Lender puts up some great stats. You know, he can really hit shots, big fragger, and coming into the tournament, talking about FURIA, I said we maybe need to see him stepping up as that second string to Fantasy. You know, that's who we need to start delivering some frags. And look at what happens when he does. Fantasy's been quiet, but it doesn't matter because Lender is doing the business. Simple as that. They're going to be defending this time mining and dining room. So they are locking down that middle floor. Obviously confident that they can do a little bit more of the same. They've got a top floor presence again, not quite as pronounced this time around, but there are the Capcan traps from Rare up there to try and slow that progress again from TSM. FURIA now just wanting to take the sting out of that attacking push as much as they can, I think.
Yeah, I mean, last time around it was Merc who was the opening death, right? And we said then the sting in the tail has been removed, they've been slowed down a little. Kind of touched a bit on the C4 count in the last round, only being 1. Here there are 3. So many tools they can play behind here to find kills, and arguably have the information to supply it as well, as Evil Eye is going to go a long way towards doing that. For now at least, it's still the contest up on the top floor. There's one hanging up on the east window here, which might put Lender under a little bit of fire, but it's all too aware about it. If they can hold this for that little bit longer, even another 30 seconds or so, they'll have wasted about 2 minutes of TSM's clock, and that's not ideal.
Surely not. Fantasy gets the opener onto Bolo, ripping him off the rappel, and what a start for FURIA. 5 versus 4 now, and they are looking good here inside of round number 8. Fantasy's going to dip away, he's going to play his life, he's not going to overstay his welcome on that top floor. The clearance continues for TSM, but they still don't really have confident control. The top floor is theirs at this point, but I don't know how much they know it. They're still creeping towards Cocktail. I think they're worried that Fantasy could still be out there.
Absolutely. Oh, a second one as well is achieved, hits the deck. Not completely out of it, but not looking too healthy either. How's the C4 getting ripped in from below? There still remains 1 in the back pocket of Lender, so untold damage still to come from that potentially as the round steps forward a bit further. We're in those final 60 seconds or so here. Tim Achieved is doing his work, swinging that hammer around. Quite clearly could not dodge that mine this time round. Wants to get back on the minesweeper for a couple of hours, but he's back on his feet, not quite finished off.
Achieved doing the work that he can, but he's on low health. It's not going to take much. He needs to be very careful about those angles he's opening up. Lender nearly gets 1. Bolo just going a little bit of a wide swing there. Sorry, it was actually Merc on the Zafia. A little bit of a wide swing. Lender finds Charla. Lender won't be stopped. Miracle onto Achieved. TSM, they are struggling to find anything. Merc with a skinny angle onto Lender, but 14 seconds left to go. It's all up to him and Geo to try and get themselves into sight, and Rare, he's just playing prone here, but they won't even get that far. Des, as Highs finds them both, chewing through them with the Alder and spitting them out.
6-2 the scoreline sits at. Tim, it's feeling very reminiscent of what we had back on Chalet. We were at this exact same scoreline, 6-2 to TSM, and then it all turned around with the introduction of Lion and Kafe. We're not going to see that coming out of TSM. They're sticking by their guns here in what they've brought along so far. But it's very clear what they've been doing so far simply is not working.
A lot of opening kills for Fantasy. I count at least 4 so far. He might not have the most frags on the board this game. He may be struggling overall in those terms, but when 4 out of the 5 are entries, that's giving your team that boost, that 5v4 round over and over and over again. So do not discount Fantasy's efforts here on Kafe just because he's lagging behind a little bit compared to his normal frags. He's having a real game here, as is Lender. Round number 9, Des. It's 6-2 for FURIA, and I don't think anybody realistically expected this on Kafe. I know that Jesse spoke about it on the analyst desk coming in, how TSM had 7 unbeaten coming into this point on Kafe. It's looking like they might just take the first L for a little while on Kafe.
We were talking about this for Sandbox and M&M, who were both 9-0 and 4-0 respectively on this map. Seems to be the map where teams collect sprees by the looks of it, Tim. Don't know why, maybe it's because it's one of those less popular maps where specific teams will play it, really play it as well, know how to play it to the nth degree, and are just surprising teams here that simply aren't prepared to go onto it. I'm not sure, but Let's see how round 9 plays out for now. Underway already, and as said before, FURIA are no slouches. They like to keep TSM busy here, keep them around the map guessing as to what the hell's actually going on. For the most part, they all sat on the downstairs expecting a lateral take. You got one sat inside a coat check. So for TSM, top floor's going to be fine, but it doesn't mean they know it's going to be fine.
No, that's it. It's still going to take them a minute or so to get in there with the drones. Yep, we think it's clear. Let's get some boots on the ground. They've got the top floor. The mid floor will follow pretty quickly after. I would expect them to be ahead of the game in terms of time on the clock, but they're still going to have a lot of work to do even when they do get that mid floor. They've got to start moving defenders around, particularly the one playing inside of VIP, if they're going to look for a freezer-sided push. We saw earlier how great an impact that player can have from that position. It was actually Achieved who was playing there, and he just really locked down that freezer-sided hold, so they need to make sure that they get that clear, and I'm sure TSM are going to understand that.
This could be cheeky. They're looking for a potential C4 up towards the hatch, then not a bad shout. You do, of course, need to find Geo stepping into the room first to look at getting these opened up. But diligent as ever, TSM are getting on the drones first and foremost. Bolo's there being shot out, but they were aware no one was actually inside of the site itself. So a good dip away, actually, by the Kaid, who still may not be known here.
Fantasy still looking for it. He's just watching where the hammer's swinging. Not going to have any joy there.
Let's tickle him.
Sledge have Achieved had just managed to back out, like you say, a little more than a tickle. Fantasy drops away into the other side of sight, but he manages to find the kill dead. He gets a long angle onto Achieved, and he gets another. The audacity! Just being peppered with bullets, but still hits the reverse headshot. Fantasy will not be stopped, and nor will FURIA. 5 versus 3 now. Lender nearly finds himself another Merc, taking a lot less damage though, and still in the fight.
Looking to himself there potentially to walk away as the loser in that engagement. Lender is down to a slither of HP, but Rare finds another. Bolo's put down. Map 3 beckons. Oregon will be the battleground that decides the winner in this game, assuming, of course, Merc and Charla can't somehow pull off a miracle and send us into yet another round. But Tim, the shots being hit by Fantasy, by Miracle, by all the guys on this team have been miraculous the whole way through. Fantasy taking a challenge. We're on the back door. The pistol comes out to a triple. Can't find the 4th, but Miracle's there waiting. We're going all the way to 3, Tim.
Oh, are we? And it is everything that we had hoped for from this game. A big performance out of TSM on map 1. A big performance out of FURIA on map 2. And we're going to see these two continue to battle it.